The Valkyrian scout ship emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Sol system, its crystalline hull refracting starlight in impossible patterns. Captain Zareth stood at the command center, his iridescent scales shifting colors as he studied the holographic display of the third planet, Earth, a world that had recently begun reaching into space with primitive chemical rockets and basic orbital stations. Another developing world, he mused, mandibles clicking in amusement, barely worth the Empire's notice. But orders were orders. The Valkyrian Empire had expanded across 12,000 light-years through the systematic conquest of younger civilizations. Earth was simply next on their list, a routine acquisition in their relentless march across the galaxy. The scout ship's sensors painted a picture that perfectly matched their intelligence reports, a fragmented planet of competing nation-states, primitive fusion power plants, and early attempts at lunar colonization. Nothing that could possibly threaten the most powerful civilization in known space. Deep beneath the Nevada desert, Dr. Sarah Chen watched the alien vessel's arrival on quantum-entangled displays that shouldn't have been possible with Earth's official level of technology. She sat in a vast underground facility that housed the heart of humanity's true technological achievements. Achievements kept hidden from prying eyes across the stars. "They took the bait," she said to General Marcus Hayes, who stood watching the feeds with arms crossed. "The facade is holding." "Good," Hayes replied, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic displays. "How long until they make their move?" "Based on their previous conquest patterns, a month, maybe 2. They'll follow their standard procedure: scout, assess, and overwhelm with superior force, or what they think is superior force." For 50 years, humanity had maintained an elaborate deception. While openly displaying technology barely beyond the 21st century, Earth's greatest minds had worked in secret to develop weapons and defenses that operated on principles the Valkyrians couldn't comprehend. The quantum defense network stretched across the solar system, invisible, untraceable, and devastating in its potential. Thousands of microscopic satellites powered by zero-point energy, capable of harnessing the fundamental forces of reality itself. But to the Valkyrian sensors, Earth appeared primitive and vulnerable. 3 weeks later, the Valkyrian diplomatic vessel arrived. Their message was wrapped in flowery language about cultural exchange and mutual benefit. But the threat was clear: submit to imperial authority or face annihilation. They had done this countless times before, and the outcome was always the same. Ambassador Krelvan stood before the United Nations, his towering frame and crystalline armor meant to intimidate. His speech was calculated to inspire both fear and awe. Tales of Valkyrian might wrapped in promises of technological gifts for a compliant Earth. What he didn't notice was the quantum scanner hidden in the podium, analyzing every aspect of Valkyrian technology. With each word he spoke, Earth's hidden supercomputers gained more insight into potential vulnerabilities. Dr. Chen's team worked tirelessly, feeding the new data into their simulations. The Valkyrian advantages were significant: antimatter weapons, phantom drives, neural networks that spanned entire fleets. But they had a critical weakness: their entire military infrastructure relied on conventional physics. "They have no concept of quantum manipulation at this scale," Chen explained to the Security Council. "Their sensors can't detect our defense grid because they don't believe it's possible. Their shields are useless against quantum displacement effects." The Council listened soberly. Humanity had hoped to avoid conflict, to remain hidden until they were ready to emerge on their own terms. But the Valkyrians had forced their hand. When Ambassador Krelvan returned to his ship, Earth's response was diplomatic but firm: "We decline imperial authority while remaining open to peaceful cooperation." The Valkyrians' reaction was predictable: smugness tinged with annoyance. They had heard similar responses before, and conquest had always followed. As Krelvan's ship departed, he transmitted the standard threat assessment to the Empire: primitive civilization, minimal defenses, suitable for standard conquest protocol. In the depths of the quantum defense facility, Dr. Chen and General Hayes watched the Valkyrians depart. They knew what came next. The Empire would marshal its forces, send a fleet to make an example of Earth. It was their standard procedure, documented across a dozen conquered worlds. "Are we ready?" Hayes asked, studying the quantum grid displays. Chen nodded, her expression grim but determined. "The defense network is fully operational. When they come in force, they'll learn too late that humanity isn't as primitive as they think." As the diplomatic vessel vanished into hyperspace, Earth continued its charade of normalcy. Civilian satellites tracked weather patterns, space stations conducted microgravity experiments, and radio telescopes scanned the stars. But beneath this peaceful facade, humanity's quantum weaponry waited silently, ready to demonstrate why underestimating Earth would be the Valkyrian Empire's greatest mistake. Beneath the ice sheets of Antarctica, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Dr. Elena Rodriguez adjusted the quantum resonance fields of the dark mirror defense system. The vast chamber hummed with energy that defied conventional physics, its walls lined with crystalline structures that pulsed with an inner light. "Field coherence at 98%, she announced, her voice echoing through the cavernous space. "The network is ready for full deployment." The dark mirror was humanity's masterpiece, a planetary defense system that could turn an attacker's energy against itself through quantum entanglement. Every weapon fired at Earth would become a potential tool for the defender, its power redirected through microscopic tears in space-time. Admiral James Chen, no relation to Dr. Sarah Chen in Nevada, stood at the primary control interface. His decades of service had led to this moment, preparation for humanity's first major interstellar conflict. The holographic displays showed the positions of thousands of quantum nodes scattered throughout the solar system, each one invisible to conventional sensors. "The Valkyrians have begun mobilizing their fleet," he reported, studying the long-range quantum detection feeds. 7th Imperial Battle Group, over 300 capital ships, plus support vessels. Elena nodded grimly. The Valkyrians were following their standard conquest protocol. Overwhelming force against a supposedly primitive world. They had no idea they were flying into the most sophisticated trap ever created. In orbit around Jupiter, automated factories hidden within the gas giants Storm's manufactured swarms of quantum-linked microsatellites. Each one was smaller than a grain of sand, but connected to the dark mirror network. They moved through space using gravitational manipulation, undetectable by any conventional means. The Valkyrian Empire's ignorance of true quantum mechanics was their greatest vulnerability. Their sensors searched for energy emissions, gravimetric disturbances, and radiation, all easily masked. They never thought to look for the subtle ripples in reality itself that mark humanity's true technological advancement. Dr. Rodriguez pulled up the latest simulation data. "The field tests in the Kuiper Belt were successful. We can redirect energy signatures up to the power of a small sun. Even their antimatter weapons won't breach the quantum barrier." But humanity's greatest advantage wasn't just technological. It was psychological. The Valkyrians' absolute certainty in their superiority made them predictable. Every invasion followed the same pattern. A display of overwhelming force, demands for surrender, and then systematic planetary bombardment. In lunar bases hidden beneath the regolith, quantum computers modeled every possible variation of the coming battle. The Valkyrians would emerge from hyperspace in a standard attack formation, their fleet arranged to maximize weapons coverage while maintaining shield overlap. They would expect token resistance at best, perhaps a few missile launches or desperate energy weapon attacks. What they would face instead was something unprecedented in galactic warfare. "Message from Nevada," Admiral Chen announced. "Dr. Sarah Chen reports the last quantum nodes are in position. The entire solar system is now covered by the dark mirror network." Elena studied the readouts from the Antarctic facility's deep sensors. The approaching Valkyrian fleet was still several days out, gathering at their forward staging area. The Empire's confidence was evident in their communications, They weren't even bothering to encrypt their tactical channels. "They're discussing how to divide Earth's resources," Alina said, monitoring the intercepted transmissions, "arguing over who gets control of which continents. They see us as already conquered." The Admiral's expression hardened. "Their assumptions about our technological level are so deeply ingrained that they're not even considering alternatives." Perfect. In facilities around the world, humanity's best minds continued their preparations. The quantum defense network was only part of the plan. Earth's hidden fleet of automated defense platforms lay dormant in the asteroid belt, their quantum drives ready to outmaneuver anything the Valkyrians possessed. But the true power of the Dark Mirror system wasn't in its offensive capabilities. It was designed to turn the fundamental laws of physics against an aggressor. Every energy weapon fired at Earth would have its power redirected. Every shield frequency would become a vulnerability. The more the Valkyrians attacked, the stronger Earth's defenses would become. "Final diagnostic complete," Alina reported. "Dark Mirror is operating at optimal efficiency. All quantum nodes are synchronized and ready for mass displacement effects." Admiral Chen nodded, studying the tactical displays. The Valkyrian fleet would arrive in just under 72 hours. Their ships were impressive by conventional standards. Massive crystalline vessels powered by antimatter reactors, bristling with weapons that could crack planets. But they were about to learn that humanity's apparent technological backwardness was the greatest deception in galactic history. The silent shield of quantum technology stood ready, waiting to demonstrate why Earth should never have been underestimated. "Send word to all facilities," the Admiral ordered. "Operation Dark Mirror is now at final readiness. When the Valkyrians arrive, they'll discover that humanity's greatest weapon isn't our technology. It's their own arrogance." The Valkyrian Ultimatum arrived exactly as predicted. Fleet Commander Xarvos' holographic image towered over the UN assembly, his crystalline armor refracting light in mesmerizing patterns. Behind him, tactical displays showed the massive invasion fleet positioned at the edge of the solar system. "Your planet stands at a crossroads," he declared, mandibles clicking in what passed for a smile among his kind. "Surrender now and become part of the greatest empire the galaxy has ever known. Resist, and we will reduce your civilization to atoms." In the Quantum Command Center beneath Nevada, Dr. Sarah Chen watched the transmission with quiet determination. The Valkyrian commander's arrogance was palpable and completely expected. Next to her, General Hayes received real-time updates from quantum sensors throughout the system. "Their fleet is maintaining standard attack formation," he reported. 347 capital ships, over 1,000 support vessels, exactly where we want them. The Valkyrians had positioned their fleet in a precise geometric pattern, optimized for their style of warfare. Each ship's shields overlapped with its neighbors, creating what they believed to be an impenetrable defense grid. Their energy weapons were charged, antimatter torpedoes primed, and phantom drives ready for rapid tactical deployment. Earth's response to the ultimatum was brief. "We decline your terms and advise immediate withdrawal." The laughter that echoed through the Valkyrian command channel was genuine. To them, Earth's defiance was absurd, like watching an insect challenge a star. They had no way of knowing that their precisely arranged fleet had already been tagged by countless quantum nodes, each ship's position mapped in subatomic detail. In the Antarctic facility, Dr. Rodriguez monitored the Dark Mirror's power levels. The system had been drinking in background energy from the sun for months, storing it in quantum matrices that defied conventional physics. The entire defense network hummed with potential, invisible to the Valkyrians' most sophisticated sensors. "They're launching their final warning shot," Admiral Chen announced, watching the tactical displays. "Single antimatter torpedo, targeted at Earth's moon. Standard intimidation tactic." The torpedo streaked across space, its antimatter warhead capable of shattering a small planet. The Valkyrians expected it to impact the moon's surface, creating a devastating explosion that would be visible from Earth, a demonstration of power meant to force immediate surrender. Instead, at the precise moment of impact, The dark mirror system activated. The torpedo's energy signature was caught in a quantum field, its destructive power redirected through microscopic wormholes and dispersed harmlessly into space. To the Valkyrian sensors, it appeared as though their weapon had simply ceased to exist. Confusion rippled through the alien fleet. Weapons officers rechecked their systems, convinced there must be some malfunction. The moon remained untouched, showing no sign that it had been targeted by one of the most powerful weapons in the galaxy. Commander Xarvos' next transmission was less confident. What trickery is this? No primitive defense could stop an antimatter warhead. Earth's response came not in words, but in action. Across the solar system, quantum nodes activated in perfect synchronization. The dark mirror network came fully online, its power no longer hidden. For the first time, the Valkyrian sensors detected something they couldn't explain. Ripples in space-time itself, surrounding their fleet in an invisible web. In underground facilities around the world, humanity's best minds coordinated their efforts. The quantum defense grid was fully charged, ready to demonstrate why Earth had maintained its deception for so long. Every ship in the Valkyrian fleet was now entangled with multiple quantum nodes, though they had no way of knowing it. Admiral Chen gave the order, "Initiate Defensive Protocol Alpha. Let's show them what they're really dealing with." The dark mirror system pulsed once, a subtle distortion that rippled through subspace. In an instant, every energy weapon in the Valkyrian fleet was quantum-locked, rendered temporarily inert by forces their science couldn't comprehend. Their mighty warships, pride of the Empire, suddenly found themselves unable to fire a single shot. Panic spread through the alien armada. For the first time in their long history of conquest, the Valkyrians faced something beyond their understanding. Their sensors showed impossible readings, their weapons refused to respond, and their vaunted shields seemed to flicker with strange energies. Commander Xarvos' final transmission betrayed his growing fear. "What are you?" The answer came from General Hayes, his voice calm but resolute. "We are humanity. We gave you every chance to withdraw. What happens next is your own doing." The Valkyrian fleet hung in space like crystalline sculptures, their massive ships still arranged in perfect attack formation. Commander Xarvos had ordered an immediate full-power weapons barrage, a desperate attempt to overcome whatever strange technology the humans had deployed. In the Nevada Command Center, Dr. Sarah Chen watched the energy readings spike across her quantum displays. "They're firing everything they have. Antimatter torpedoes, phantom beams, graviton cannons, their entire arsenal." General Hayes nodded grimly. "Initiate Dark Mirror Protocol Beta." The moment the Valkyrian weapons discharge, the true power of humanity's quantum defense grid revealed itself. Each energy blast, each torpedo, each beam of destructive force was caught in a web of quantum fields. But instead of simply being neutralized, the energy was redirected, channeled through microscopic tears in space-time back toward its source. The Valkyrians watched in horror as their own weapons fire seemed to vanish into invisible portals, only to emerge behind their fleet. Their perfectly arranged formation, designed to maximize offensive capability, now served to amplify their vulnerability. Each ship's overlapping shields, meant to provide mutual protection, instead created a network of quantum resonance that the dark mirror system exploited. In the Antarctic facility, Dr. Rodriguez's fingers flew across her control interface. Quantum entanglement at maximum efficiency. Their energy weapons are feeding directly into our grid. The first wave of redirected fire struck the Valkyrian rearguard. Ships that had survived centuries of warfare disappeared in flashes of their own weaponry. Their shields, designed to resist external attack, provided no defense against weapons emerging from quantum spaces within their own defensive perimeter. Commander Xarvos' voice crackled across the command channel. "Impossible. They're using our own power against us. All ships, cease fire immediately." But it was too late. The dark mirror network had absorbed enough energy from the initial barrage to become self-sustaining. Quantum nodes throughout the solar system pulsed with captured power, creating cascading reactions that rippled through the Valkyrian fleet. Admiral Chen studied the tactical displays, watching as the mighty alien armada began to break apart. They're trying to retreat. Phantom drives engaging. Not this time, Dr. Chen replied. She activated the final phase of the defense protocol. The quantum grid shifted frequency, generating a field that interrupted the Valkyrian ships' faster-than-light capabilities. Their phantom drives, capable of crossing light years in moments, sputtered and died. For the first time in their history of conquest, the Valkyrian fleet was trapped. In desperation, Commander Xarvos ordered his remaining ships to concentrate their fire on a single point, hoping to overwhelm the human defenses through sheer power. 300 ships targeted a specific sector of space, unleashing enough energy to vaporize a small moon. The dark mirror system responded instantly. The combined firepower was caught in a complex web of quantum fields, redirected through multiple dimensional spaces, and focused into a single coherent beam. This concentrated stream of the Valkyrians' own energy lanced through the heart of their fleet, cutting through ships as if they were made of paper. "My God," General Hayes whispered, watching the destruction. "The more they fight, the worse it gets for them." The Valkyrian command ship, a massive crystalline structure that had overseen the conquest of countless worlds, found itself at the center of a quantum storm. Energy redirected from 100 different sources converged on its position. Xarvos had time for one final transmission, his voice thick with disbelief. "How? You were primitive. You were supposed to be primitive." The command ship disappeared in a flash of light, taking the core of the Valkyrian leadership with it. The remaining vessels, now leaderless and facing an incomprehensible enemy, began to break formation. Some attempted to flee at sublight speeds, others tried to surrender, but the quantum cascade had already begun. One by one, the ships of the mighty Valkyrian fleet vanished, their own energy used to unmake them. The dark mirror system worked with cold efficiency, each quantum node executing its function perfectly. In less than an hour, the greatest invasion force in the galaxy had been completely erased. In the aftermath, Earth's quantum sensors detected only debris and lingering energy signatures where the Valkyrian fleet had been. The solar system was quiet once more, protected by humanity's invisible shield of quantum technology. Dr. Chen looked at the final readings, her expression solemn. "It's done. The entire fleet has been eliminated. Send word to all facilities," General Hayes ordered. "Operation Dark Mirror is complete. But our work is just beginning. The galaxy will soon know that humanity is no longer hiding." News of the Valkyrian fleet's destruction spread through the galaxy like a shockwave. The most powerful military force in known space, vanquished in less than a day by a supposedly primitive world. The implications were staggering. In the weeks that followed, Earth's quantum detection grid tracked hundreds of alien vessels approaching the solar system. But these weren't warships. They were diplomatic envoys, observation craft, and representatives from civilizations that had long suffered under Valkyrian dominion. Dr. Sarah Chen stood before the United Galactic Council, Earth's first representative to this gathering of spacefaring races. The chamber was filled with beings of all forms, some humanoid, others completely alien. All were fixated on her words. "For decades, humanity chose to hide our true capabilities," she explained. "We watched as the Valkyrians and others like them built empires through force and fear. We developed our technology in secret, knowing that one day we would need to defend not just ourselves, but perhaps others as well." The revelation of Earth's quantum technology sent ripples through galactic society. The dark mirror system represented an entirely new branch of physics, one that most advanced races hadn't even theorized possible. Humanity's primitive status had been the perfect cover for development of technologies that operated on principles beyond conventional understanding. In the Antarctic facility, Dr. Rodriguez worked with a team of alien scientists, carefully explaining the basics of quantum manipulation technology. The key was thinking beyond traditional physics, she told them. We didn't try to build bigger weapons or stronger shields. We learned to work with the fabric of reality itself. The fall of the Valkyrian Empire created a power vacuum in the galaxy, but not the chaos many had feared. Earth emerged not as a conqueror, but as a stabilizing force. The quantum defense network was revealed to be just one application of humanity's revolutionary science. Admiral Chen, now Earth's military liaison to the Galactic Council, oversaw the establishment of new defensive partnerships. We offer protection to any world that seeks peaceful cooperation, he declared. The era of imperial conquest is over. Humanity's emergence changed the fundamental dynamics of galactic politics. The quantum technology that had protected Earth was gradually shared with peaceful civilizations, creating a network of allied worlds bound by mutual defense agreements. Former Valkyrian subject worlds found themselves free to determine their own destinies. In the Nevada Command Center, General Hayes watched a holographic display showing the new galactic political landscape. We've changed everything, he mused, not through conquest or domination, but by standing firm against those who would rule through force. The Dark Mirror system remained Earth's ultimate defense, but its existence alone proved enough to deter future would-be conquerors. The fate of the Valkyrian fleet served as a stark reminder that technological advancement couldn't be measured by visible achievements alone. Dr. Chen's final address to the Galactic Council summed up humanity's new role. We hid our true nature not out of fear, but because we needed time to develop technologies that could break the cycle of conquest and subjugation. Earth now stands ready to help build a galaxy where intelligence and creativity are valued above military might. As the solar system buzzed with diplomatic activity, humanity began the careful process of sharing its advancements. Quantum technology offered solutions to problems that had plagued civilizations for millennia. Energy crises, transportation limitations, communication barriers. The Great Deception was over. Humanity had emerged from its chrysalis, not as the primitive civilization the galaxy had dismissed, but as a race that had fundamentally changed the rules of cosmic interaction. The quiet planet that had seemed so insignificant had become the architect of a new galactic order. In orbit above Earth, diplomatic vessels from 100 worlds gathered for the signing of the Quantum Cooperation Treaty. As representatives of formerly warring species came together under humanity's guidance, the true power of Earth's achievement became clear. They had won not just a battle, but the right to forge a different path for all spacefaring civilizations. The age of imperial conquest was over. The era of quantum enlightenment had begun.